What's up, YouTube? This is Lord Zath bringing you another episode of Zath's Replay Theater. In this episode, we are looking at marcmad in the Bellerophon. This is a Tier 3 British battleship that is an awful lot of fun to play. It's also quite possibly overpowered. Anyway, this is a standard Tier 3-4 battle. However, if you look on the enemy team, we've got a couple of umikazes that are coming in there. Divisioned up with a 10 Ryu. So there's a couple of tier 2s down there. One thing to keep in mind when you division with somebody, you are able to division one tier lower. However, if you do that, you run the risk of being up-tiered, brought up higher. It's not such a big deal in tiers 2, 3, and 4, but once you get to tier 5, that means you could potentially be going into a tier 7 battle. So imagine taking a tier 4 ship into a tier 7 battle. Your teammates will not like you at all. Alright, so let's talk about the Bellerophon here and what marcmad's got set up. You'll notice he has 0, I repeat, 0 flags. See that? And other than military month commander, and that's, to be honest, what I would expect to see at tier 3. There's really no reason to run a whole bunch of flags in tier 3. Maybe tier 5, 6 you want to start running flags. Personally, I don't care to run flags until tier 7. Mainly because there's just not a lot of XP gain. So it doesn't really matter. If you lose the battle, alright. I mean, you don't lose a lot of credits. If you win the battle, alright, you don't get a lot of XP. That's just a personal thing, I suppose, for me. He's also sailing naked. There is no camouflage on his ship, and you know, again, that's kind of what I would expect. So that's not a big deal. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this channel, the whole idea behind it is I want to help anybody learn how to play this game, and so I'm asking for anybody who has a replay they would like to share to send it to me. You can see my email in the description, the channel description below, and just send it to me. I actually don't want to know what happens in the battle. I want to be surprised, because guess what? Everybody else is going to be surprised too. So I really don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know. Oh. Well, I don't know if someone's going to win or lose. However, losing a destroyer right off the bat, it does kind of hurt marcmad's team. So anyway, good hit on the Dene, starting off with a fire and a couple of penetrations. So anyway, yeah. So I'm not looking for the best games in the world. I'm not looking for, hey man, check this out. This was awesome. I really just kind of want your perspectives on things and to let me know what you think of. I'm pausing this for a second, and this is something I want to try to do too. At this point, take a look at what's going on, and I'm going to use control and move my mouse cursor. Take a look at the mini map. I'm going to make this bigger. We have an umikaze and another umikaze. Remember, they're divisioned, so when you see one, there's usually two there. And Dene, Wyoming, Zayaslav was last spotted here. He's probably more over here by now. And take a look at where marcmad fired. He fired at the Dene. Now, the Dene is probably the least bit of his concern, right? Because he's got only AP shells that he's going to fire. They're not going to do a ton of damage. The Dene is a threat to the Clemson, but looking at the angles, nah. What marcmad should be shooting at right now, in my opinion, is this umikaze. Or this one, because the umikaze is going to be the biggest threat to battleships. Hold this down again. If you look on the right side here, the umikaze has 8-kilometer torpedo range, which means he's almost in range already to fire torpedoes and hit them. That's important to keep in mind. As a battleship, I know you typically want to go for cruisers, or other battleships, but if you want to win battles, you need to focus destroyers, especially when they're in middle range. I mean, what I mean by mid-range is 10 kilometers or less. You need to hit them. Doesn't matter if you've got HE loaded. Doesn't matter if you've got AP loaded. you hit him. HE, you've got a good chance of detonating a ship, or at least taking out modules, taking out those torpedo tubes he was just about to fire on you and pissing him off, right, or killing his engines. If you use AP, one penetration on that destroyer, especially if it's bow or stern onto you, in other words, it's going straight at you or running straight away from you, that penetration could possibly take out half of his hit points. So there's no reason to ignore them. You can see marcmad has shifted at this point to AP shells, which means he is going to be going for an AP shot on this Danae. And like I said, I think at this point, man, you got to be going for those destroyers, because that's the bigger threat to you and to the team right now. Of course, it helps when you have a Clemson that takes one out for you. But then the Clemson's gone. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I think of. So that's point one when you see a destroyer that's nearby. Point two, when you see a destroyer that's nearby, you typically don't want to be heading straight towards him. You typically want to be going away from that destroyer. And the reason for that is because if you head towards a destroyer, ooh, decent looking shot, RNG says nope. If you are heading towards a destroyer, you see he's currently turning away from, very smart. If you head towards a destroyer, then that 8-kilometer torpedo range is effectively increased to 9 kilometers. Why? Because if he fires that torpedo at marcmad at 9 kilometers, by the time that torpedo reaches the end of its 8-kilometer journey, marcmad has closed the distance, so it's going to hit him. So one thing I like to do as a battleship, if I know a destroyer is chasing me, I will purposely run away from him, because that means that most destroyers will have to get within spotting distance in order to fire their torpedoes and to actually have them hit you. Which is hilarious, right? Because if you're ready for that, you've got your guns pointed at him, he gets into spotting distance, and boom, you just pow him right in the face. And maybe that kills him. Most likely it won't kill him, but you know what? It'll give him a bloody nose. It'll make him think twice about before coming after you. It might take out a torpedo tube or two. And if you're really lucky, the guy will be dumb and will just start shooting at you. If he starts shooting at you, he's going to be detected the whole time. It's open season. You can plan torpedoes and all that good stuff. Have fun. Umikaze, blap him now. Get him. Very smart. You see, marcmad was lining up for that easy kill shot on the Danae, but instead he saw that Umikaze, and immediately that became the bigger threat. That got the brunt of the salvo. Very smart decision there, marcmad. And we can see the other side of the team not doing so good on the other flank over here. This flank seems to be kind of weak. We got that Dursky going over after South Carolina, Wyoming. Orion is taking on the two of them at once. Not a good idea. So let's see what happens here. marcmad is lining up a shot on the 10 Ryu. 10 Ryu's turning away though. This shot's probably gonna miss. It's probably gonna go wide and miss him. Yep. When you see a ship doing that, you know that their rudder is probably going to turn hard over, which means you typically want to aim closer to the ship and past the ship. And what I mean by that is horizontally you want to be aimed more directly at that ship, but then you want to aim vertically past the ship. And the reason why you want to do that is because the ship is going to turn away faster than you expect. Alright, no other targets viable, so shoot the Orion. Sure, makes sense. Dursky kills the Wyoming. Good. Alright, so one thing about British battleships to note is that they have very good high explosive shells. Very high chance of fire. You can see that in 12 shell hits, and some of those were AP, he set 3 fires. That's an insane % chance of fires. So if you have a Bellerophon or any of the British battleships, you can kind of get away with just being lazy and firing HE all the time. Now, oh, this is interesting. Okay, marcmad has been detected, but notice he's now turning at the last second. This is something that pro players will often do to throw off destroyers, because most likely the Umikaze wants to kill him, right? The Umikaze is probably over here now, and he's probably dumping his torps that way, right? So by going this direction, you completely foiled that plan. So that's smart. Oh, hey, look, there's the Umikaze, just like I thought. Now, the Umikaze is probably going to turn... Oh, big hit. See? That's why you hit destroyers. That's always why you shoot them. Umikaze is turning broadside now. He's probably going to dump his load, so... Good play here by marcmad, turning away and not giving that easy broadside shot to the Umikaze. And this might just kill him right here. Nope, almost. Next salvo will probably get him. Very smart, by the way. Did you notice how he asked his team to help shoot this guy? He used F3. This is something there it is. This is something that I do all the time. I'm always asking my team to focus on targets. That's really important to do too. You can't assume that everybody is aware of the same things you're aware of. So, you know, you want to try to take a little bit more control of the situation and try to be like, hey guys, shoot this dude. And not the full health Wyoming, but, you know, at this point, who's there to target, right? Alright, so we see, let's look at the situation here. Pausing it again, we've got Zaslav over here, Wyoming, Nassau, Orion. Okay. So basically what he's doing is he's thinking, alright, now Zaeslav's the only threat to him torpedo-wise. Zaslav has 5-kilometer torpedoes, which means he doesn't need to worry about the Zaslav that much. So now is the opportunity to hit those battleships. Now, you'll notice not earlier, but now. And I think that's important to keep in mind. Alright, let's see how things go. Hey look, Umikaze torpedoes. Who would have thought? Now, one thing to keep in mind is that Zaslav is probably going to go for C now at this point. Because there's literally nothing in his way. Maybe the Phoenix. If the Phoenix keeps doing what he's doing. Dursky... Ooh, Dursky is pretty low. 745. The 10 Ryu. Ooh, 57. Ouch. 10 Ryu at this point is being smart. See where 10 Ryu is on the minimap? He's behind the island, hiding, making sure he doesn't get detected, and shot. Good idea. Now, one thing about marcmad, you notice that he allowed his rear turrets to start turning the other direction. And you generally don't want to change directions too much in your battleship because it takes forever to get your turrets turned. It's unfortunate the Wyoming died. This is not looking too good here. Zaslav is hitting him for free. What I mean by that is he's not detected. He's lobbing the shells over the island. marcmad is doing something you generally don't want to do in any ship, especially a battleship or a cruiser, and that is turning broadside to 3 enemy battleships. Okay, using deep damage control, DCP, very smart. That's the R key right here for new players, and what that does is it completely negates anything that's happening over here. You saw he had 2 fires going, and so that heals him from the fires. It stops the burn. Okay, this Wyoming is probably going to go down. marcmad, I think I know what he wants to do. I think he wants to go and kill this Zaslav that's being a pain in the butt. Alright, repair party is being used. Take a look down here. You see that he is healing up. Now, that's a consumable that all battleships get, and some cruisers, especially at the high tiers, get this too. And just recently, the USS Kidd, a destroyer, was given repair party. Tier 10 and 9 Russian destroyers also have repair party. But anyway, it's a very useful tool to regain some hit points, keep you in the fight longer. Now you notice on the bottom the cooldown time. It takes a bit to be able to use it again, so you have to be careful about when you're going to use your consumables. marcmad waited until he was on double fires to use his consumable, and when he was on double fire, he used it, boom. He didn't just pop it on the first time. A lot of new players will do that. This is Zaslav, by the way, is still shooting AP rounds. I don't know why he's shooting AP rounds. He should be shooting HE to try to start fires. Nice salvo. What do we get? Oh, big hit. Big hit. almost half of his hit points are gone just like that, folks. Did you see that? Now, back to consumables. If you can, you should always run premium consumables. They cost either 15 doubloons or 22,500 credits. The credits, very cheap. Especially at the low tiers, you should be able to afford getting those consumables. And what that does is that it allows you to be in the fight longer. It really does. So if you have the ability to, pick them up. Alright, now we see Zaslav is burning. He used his DCP earlier. He probably won't burn out, but he's on fire. The nice thing about fires is that it forces you to it gets you spotted from farther distance, I should say, so that's kind of important. Dursky with a nice kill on the Nassau. Oh my god, the Dursky's at 5 hit points. Wow. Alright, that was a bit of a luck or skill, whatever you want to call it. That was pretty awesome. So, let's see. Zaslav is making one final desperate maneuver to get himself killed. Goodbye. That was no point. And see now, repair party comes into play again, and look at that, he is building up his hit points. At this point, not too much is going on. I'm going to see if I can get a screenshot here of marcmad firing his guns, just because it could be kind of fun. Look at that. Look at that beautiful salvo. Right? Look at that power. All right. So we're gonna try using this, just because I like to get a screenshot or two oh, it just looks good, right? Okay, look at that explosion. This is one thing I love about World Warships. It's just so doggone beautiful. Alright, going back to full speed now. Guys, I have a strong feeling the Orion's about to die, but let's take a look at positioning anyways. At this point, Tenryu is really low. And look at where he is. He is leading the charge on the Orion. That is incredibly stupid. The Orion, all he has to do is hit him with one shell. It could even be an overpenetration from an AP shell, and that Tenryu is most likely dead. Look at the points. Okay? Right now, Team Red has A and B, so they are gaining points. Like this, they just got 8 points. Team Blue, or green, whatever, white, I don't know. I'm colorblind. They don't have any points, so they're not getting anything. So very smart that we see marcmad here in C, and Drew, his divmate, in D, capping those two caps, making sure that the game is extended a little bit longer. Right now, that Tenryu is a massive threat to marcmad's team winning. If that Tenryu dies, he's gone. I mean, that's an extra bit of points on this side, less points on this side, so that's a concern, right? The other liability is the Dursky over here at 5 hit points. If he gets spotted, now boom. So if I was the Dursky, I would do this. I would loop to the right and I'd pop into A and tuck in right there, get a free full base cap, and that's where I'd sit for the rest of the battle. If I was the Tenryu, I would only, if I really wanted to shoot, I would only open fire when the Orion fires at maybe the Phoenix or at maybe Drew. That's the only time that I would fire. I would fire one salvo and then stop again, because that would allow me to go dark before the Orion can react and shoot at me. Alright, anyways, let's see what happens here. My prediction is that this Tenryu is going to die. 30 seconds from capturing C. Decap is about to be captured. Boom. Now we are going to start to see the points evening out a little bit. Now, let's see. 2,000. So somebody's hitting him. Probably the Phoenix, maybe the Tenryu. Actually, can we... marcmad, please don't take offense to this, but we're going to go see what's going on with this battle here. Look at all this stuff being fired. Oh man, the Tenryu got lucky. Did you see that, guys? Almost hit him. We're going to stop this here because look at this. 700 hit points left. Unfortunately, marcmad salvo just landed right there at the island. Islands are OP. And most likely, This Orion is dead, so what do you say we watch him die, huh? Flying in, go back to normal speed. Guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching as this Orion dies. And again, if you've got a replay you'd like to share, please send it on. Take care.